Hello and welcome to another Lorcana League Night. This is Christopher, joined by
Roy.
This week we're going to be talking about the best card in core, CCQs, and some big announcements coming from D23 with, I'll let you know, if you're looking for the Hyperion information, that is going to be next week, as a lot more things fall out. So, jumping into it. Best card in core right now, the new tramp of the set, Elinor. Any arguments?
Yeah, I got an argument for that one.
All right.
The card requires only one thing and one thing alone, though, is to have three exerted characters inside the battlefield. This only works for one type of deck, and on top of that, it only gives you incremental gains when that condition is met. In my honest opinion, when you're running decks like this, if you have a perfectly sequenced out board and everything falls right into place, and you know that your opponent has nothing to interact with your board whatsoever, then you can start triggering this off one after another. But best card in the set, I wouldn't say it blows anything out of the water. There are better cards that are being played right now. Unfortunately, they're from previous sets and previous metas. But Elinor is definitely a contender, though. I would put her probably in the top 3 or top 4, but that's just my opinion.
I will actually agree and disagree at the same time.
Okay.
For a different reason. So there's a lot of argument. I've heard a lot of people, very upset. Elinor is the best card in the set. It's another dog, so we need to nerf her now. But kind of on your point, she fits into one deck. She is a very strong card. But on the flip side, I'm seeing a lot of people being able to counterplay Elinor, being able to take that down. Rest of the ink color kind of weakens the amber emerald combo, but because right now we're so balanced, I don't think saying that something's the best card in the set has a lot of real impact. That's like saying there are a lot of other cards that are really, really good. Ariel Sonic Princess or Sonic Warrior, that's a really good card too, and we could say okay, well, that's a good card and works really well in this this iteration, but it's fine that it's not the best card because it's still competitive. People can still play it. Elinor is not a play this card and win because there's a lot of easy ways to play around it.
She is a capstone of what aggro wants you to do, is to turn dude sideways and win the game quickly and try to get to the red zone, which is 15 lore or less. At that point in the game, if you're at 15 lore and you do have the conditions met, you basically won the game. It's really hard to stop that at that point. So,
who would you give the top title for best card in the game right now?
Right now, Dumbo, hands down. Great body, great casting cost. His activated effect draws you cards. It does everything that a card wants to do at his current stage.
I am not too as concerned just because of how popular Amber is and how popular the Headless Horseman spell is action, where you could just remove an evasive. If there was no removal for 3 health targets or at least evasive targets that a lot of people are just happy to run, I would absolutely agree with Dumbo. I think Dumbo is just kind of caught in a meta where a lot of people are prepared for it. That said, at any point, meta can shift a little bit and local metas can vary. So in a particular meta where people are running aggro, I think Dumbo is a little bit too slow. But in a particular meta where people are running a bunch of other small evasives and they don't have the removal and there's a variety of decks, I absolutely agree. So it kind of further, I like the idea of Dumbo. I like Dumbo is a reason why it's a $40 card. It's one of the most expensive cards we have right now, but I don't think the meta is really there to say Dumbo is the card we have to worry about.
He's a scourge from the previous meta, and I seen him floating around those lists. It was paired with Sapphire last time, if I remember, right?
Blurple was a powerful set. Dumbo was in a couple of lists too. We had a little bit of Emerald Amethyst. because you could do some evasive shenanigans. It was a snow fort list, but the problem with that list ended up being the fact that people had targeted removal for items. So snow forts got taken down a lot
Ooh.
without much value. So uh, the in if you're going to go ahead and run Emerald, you might as well just go Amber Emerald for a lot of cases because what could be done, what could be better done with Tramp. But you're for the most part, you're right though. Blurple was the other big power hitter. The problem is it did lose to dogs last set, and you did not get that nice symmetry of okay, um, I'm going to really be able to swing back with against certain other decks because you just ran into so many dogs. So you had so many bad matchups with that deck. So I think that's probably the biggest reasons why we didn't see too much with that particular list.
Another deck that I see emerging from that same color combination is the Circle of Life songs deck, which is the exact opposite of what the aggro deck does, though. I've been delving into it, and it's pretty brilliant because it has all the elements that I hate to run into if I was running aggro. To be perfect,
Yeah, I
it's like
go ahead.
so. The philosophy of the deck is to basically use draw and discard tactics in order to return cards to your hand, send other cards into your opponent's deck, which kind of prevents discard strategies, and just a whole plethora of songs that you could use your characters as resources in order to cast them to gain board presence.
So I've been seeing two colors in the Circle of Life deck. One being Amber Steel, the other one being Amber Emerald. And we actually saw in CCQ Millennium, which was the Gen Con CCQ, uh, Amber Steel Song with Circle of Life, and then you have the Sonic Warrior, great example, gives you that 3 damage that allows you to pick off quite a few different characters and is particularly strong against Amber Emerald Elinor. And then it also gives you some other like good tempo plays, good strength abilities. And then, of course, the Amber Emerald, it gives you the heavy hitters at the end with some nice aggressive, evasive characters at the front. And then you kind of just try to get those powerful singers out on the board that comes out of Amber to sing Circle of Life as fast as possible. And it's pretty effective too.
Yeah, I'm actually liking this meta as it shaped out. A lot of cards were actually taken out of the pool and new strategies that come in fruition. So there's multiple aggro decks, multiple mid-range decks, and multiple control decks, and then combo. Combo is slowly peeking its head out. The combo that I want to push out once again is the Touch the Sky combo, which
Yeah.
rolls into that evasive aggro strategy. And then once you get into the mid-range game, you start establishing finishers and making sure they can run away with the game at that point.
I am looking very enviously at Touch Paradise, and I'm thinking about putting that deck together. I've been playing a bit with my my Amber Ruby song deck, and it has such a polarizing matchup against anything that has control. It just lacks that kind of any sort of momentum. And I'm playing around with different things to help get more use out of grab your swords. And it doesn't have the cycle. When I paired it with Ember I mean not Ember, Emerald to be able to drop some of those cards where they start rotting in your hand. So yeah, no. I love the Touch the Sky deck. I think it's a really fun combination. I would like to trim it a little bit to get some more consistency out of it. But here's very curious to see what ends up happening later. What we did see out of let's go and start with the ACQ out of Asia. This was end of July. We saw that 2 Elinors are on the top 4. Amethyst Steel Bots, which I think is the best counter to Elinor decks. And then finally, Amber Amethyst, which I think we saw quite a few people playing at Gen Con this week. We'll be talking more about that next week, but that's an interesting mid-range tempo strength deck too. So what do you think of the Steel Bots taking out Amber Emerald?
Oh, I'm all for it. I've been rooting for that deck since it came out during Wilds Unknown. I was like, I gotta build this, and it's like it fell apart, and I'm like, oh, I was like, okay, let me try the 80/20 rule once again. I'm like, yes, 20% came out though, so the necessary parts came out, and they actually landed on a color which happens to be the all-powerful supporting color known as Amethyst. Yeah, but the
And it doesn't need Dumbos in those decks too. It could do it all with the either Isis or
yeah.
Damonas.
Yeah. One thing I like to point out, like on a community note, I noticed that there's a lot of Asian tournaments that are actually that where Lorcana is big at though. Is Disney a really big market in Asia?
Yeah, I mean the Disney Sea, which is in Japan, has always a very full crowd,
Okay.
especially after the updates. And then you have Disney Hong Kong and Shanghai. You have actually two Disney Worlds over in China,
Uh-huh.
um, oddly pretty close to each other. But still, yeah, no, they're very very popular. People enjoy it. They have a completely different theming because there's no skeletons in those Disneys. Uh, they're they're very fun, and Asians like card games. What can you say? Like Asia and competitive card games, and of course you'd see aggro out of probably the East too. I think that's probably a common thing.
Yeah.
Disney just relaunched a new boat 6 8 months ago,
Okay.
and that goes out of Thailand. No, Singapore goes out
Think-
of Singapore.
Okay.
So
I,
yeah, it's pretty popular.
I don't know, like, this game is here to stay. And just between you and me, I actually wouldn't mind going on a family trip out to Asia to go check out the local card stores over there. I think it'll be a hoot and a holler.
Oh yeah, I've gone to Tokyo once, and we went to the electronics stores, and I haven't didn't try the card stores. I think that'd be really really interesting to bring an American deck and see how people react to that.
Yeah, I remember when I actually went to Japan last time to in my old Magic days. We drafted sushi actually, just kind of like as an event. So it's like conveyor type sushi, and it was just kind of like a fun little game we played though. That we just like we would pick from the conveyor as it rolls through, and then we wouldn't eat until everybody chose, and then according to the color combinations, then it would just randomly choose who wins and who loses according to what we chose. Apparently,
Nope.
apparently that night Tuna was killing it in the meta. So
That's great. Well, other tournament we saw, Gen Con. I don't have the third and fourth in front of me, but I know that the first and second place were Amethyst Ruby, both of them evasive, but two different type of Amethyst Ruby evasive decks. They're really fun, and you talk about the strength of Dumbo. I think that deck is absolutely a Dumbo centric deck with a bunch of very aggressive, very quick down evasive characters, a bit of removal to cover them, and the fact that you could just turn them sideways and draw a card and get a lore turns into an ugly combination.
totally disgusting. Mid range is back on the menu, guys. So
Totally.
once again, you're gonna have to pack in your soft sideboards of if you're playing Amber, the
Horseman strikes.
Horseman Strikes. Yeah, that's gonna be it right
Yeah.
there. But I think in my previous experience against mid-range decks, I'm going to start implementing this right now. I'm working on my ramp deck, like the traditional Amber Sapphire ramp deck. I honestly believe that if I could get all my stuff to turn 5 castable, and I mean everything on my deck, including the top end though, I think I could push strategies there far beyond what they could actually catch up to. Because in my testing, I noticed that ramp hasn't been implemented yet, and ramp has been like a really good indicator to actually take down these mid-range lists.
There is a dedicated uh, Sapphire Amber player that's at our store, and yeah, he's been having problems finding a good balance of what to slot in. So if you know crack that meta in order to take out some of these faster decks, it would be a real boon and a definite pioneering moment. Lastly, the last CCQ that we had since we last chatted was the CCQ Millennium, which was first place Amber Emerald once again, but we'll still see the Steel Song deck that I thought was Gen Con, but it's actually a Millennium, and was followed up by two Amethyst Steel bots right behind, knocking out all the competitions. What do you think about that result?
Result seems to be par for the course for the meta though, but seeing Amethyst Steel take out the rest of the competition as well as stand toe to toe with these aggro decks, I think what that deck needs is just a little bit more lower to the ground in order to meet up with that. But then everything's going to switch over, but switch over to mid range, which would actually have them adjust their strategies.
Yeah,
This is the great thing about these lists though. They're not static. They're not 100%. This is going to be the same list over and over again. People adjust their deck list, I see, according to what the meta is. If it shifts towards aggro, then they'll lower it to the ground. If they're mid range, then they'll figure out a way to take out the big baddies. And if it goes into um into any other strategy, which is like whether it be songs of Amber Steel or the Amber Emerald variety, then people will start playing faster decks. I guarantee you, if the songs decks start creeping back up in the higher rankings, though, you're gonna see Ruby, Amber toys run amok again.
yeah, they have a good defense against cards like the well, he threw his lightning bolt. So I'm curious to see if we're seeing big changes or maybe something cyclical. I think Steel Amethyst could probably help do better against mid range by dropping the angels. Even though angels are so powerful, it gives you that great reach. But you'll need to be a little bit more hand conscious. You can't quite dump as much against aggro. So you'll need enough resources in order to keep putting things out for mid range. So we'll see, though. We'll see.
I don't know. I think
What
I might have to step in and actually give a comment about Angel. I've noticed that you've been slowly taking Angels out of your still decks, though. Is there any reason why you're doing that, or is it just
Not as many to so if I can't get 4 damage on an Elinor, if it's just 2 damage to a thing, what'll end up happening is either they'll heal it to draw cards, or they'll transfer the damage to someone on my side,
oh,
which means that damage works against me.
right?
So, and Angel's not a bad card, but it's only really useful if you have no cards in hand, or if you're using it to plink something off. And I don't have. There is a nice discard synergy with my Steel Amethyst, where I can discard characters and then play my Maleficent for free.
Yeah.
So it actually gives me a little bit of boost. Not most other people are running the Violet Par combo,
Mhm.
and when I was trying it out with the Violet Par combo specifically, uh, the Angel worked a lot against it. You just run through your resources without being able to kill as many things just because of the lack of you know being able to hit something for 2 damage, and just playing down an Angel it with with a hand of like 3 or 4 cards it gets into a really, really tough situation. Now
God.
it's really, really
Okay.
nice when the Demona
Uh,
comes down. That's
right.
great. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, because Angel's always been the answer to small aggro, but I do understand from that perspective though, because I see people running Ohana means family, and that's devastating. Even off of 2 damage, a 2 card advantage could swing it in your entirely in your opponent's favor.
I keep fighting running into things when I'm not playing aggro against non-aggro decks.
Yeah, yeah.
I just like running into control. So much controller mid-range. I don't know why this keeps happening to me, even though the environment is a much more aggro friendly. So I keep teching for aggro. I'm looking forward to fight aggro against aggro, but it just those matchups aren't there. So I'll love to balance my decks a little bit more to take on those mid ranger and control decks. Man, I still think that Amber Ruby boosties are they're going to come back, and they're going
Yeah.
to be really, really, really scary.
Yeah. The only thing missing from that deck, to be perfectly honest, is more rush cards, which I've been trying to put into it. I've been using Farnsworth, actually, the
Oh yeah.
2CMC, and then I've been experimenting a little bit with New Tigger. So
Yeah, I have a new Tigger. I put that into my Ruby Amber song deck as well, uh, Panda Powerline deck. just to give like a little bit of earlier, like, hey, I need a little bit more momentum to slow things down just so I can really get going. Though, the best feeling I have when playing that deck is you do the turn one Meilin, and then they play like, like the Aurora, and then next turn they get like down to of the Grandmother Willows, and then I get to go. Okay, great. Then I'm going to shift in a uh, the the Sun Yi to exert her, so I can then play grab your bows, remove two of those characters. You just spent all those resources, and you have no card draw behind it, and it's like bounce that back to my hand. It's like, okay, cool. What you gonna do now? You just spent all your resources, and I'm just chilling with another resource that just went back to my hand. Remove two of your characters, and I'm chilling, just doing great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, love that deck. Super fun. Speaking of super fun and trying out new decks, D23 is out there, and they've announced a new booster box type booster pack with a collector's booster, and it's going to have things like more foils in there and super special foils, brand new treatment. We have been waiting for this, for those collectors to stop stealing basic booster boxes and go over those stupid expensive booster packs.
To be perfectly honest, the collector boosters being introduced at this current time, I think is the perfect timing because didn't they also announce that they're also going to be doing like an online version of a game?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay,
I have a lot of opinions on
same with
that
that.
and story to tell. So go ahead.
Yeah, but with the new rarity being inside there, there's going to be a total of like what, like 137 cards of this certain rarity existing in the entire world. So it's going to be the ultimate chase card. So
Oh yeah,
that'll draw traffic towards there for all the collectors though. And listen, I got nothing against collectors though. It's just the fact that as a player of this game though, I would like access to cards. It's really hard to find packs at a decent price and when I last checked, I think Attack of the Vine is either out of stock or selling at about 250 a box though.
yeah. Well, you know what? Scalpers can have their field day. They've gone after during D23. They had a huge release of another collector's box. They're completely gone, and now these collector boosters. You know what? That's fine. I don't have to have the really cool art for all this stuff. I would like it, sure, but you know what? I'm happy just to have the baseline vanilla cards, and just you're absolutely right with the as long as we can get our cards, that everything else is a nice cherry on top, and the reverse hollows. But now scalpers can go after something, resell them at a higher price, and then let the market decide on how much we really care about these.
Man, you guys just need to go to Power Worlds. Leave us alone, man. Seriously.
I think that, well, the collectors and a little bit of the scalpers, as long as they're scalping the super rare limited run products that don't interfere with people playing the game,
Yeah.
help the game keep growing, help it have that interest, and prices be pretty high. As again, a lot of assumptions, a lot of hopes that they don't start going into, it's like, oh well, I'm going to go for that iconic in this one set, but like we're seeing right now,
I totally understand that. But a lot of
single
people,
markets are doing good.
yeah, single markets are doing great, but the collector's booster boxes will serve their function as being a premium item that people would be sought after. I think MSRP for that one is like what they stated was like 400 bucks or something, or did they say?
Yeah, it was expensive. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was a pretty penny.
Yeah, but I like it. I welcome the idea of this though, so that way we could actually assist both parties of being players and collectors.
Yeah, yeah. Let the players play. Let the collectors get the very shiny cardboard. So
Yeah.
happy with that. Now you were mentioning that another major announcement, the digital version, and I actually have a story on that. Um, so the executive producer for this was announced in January of 2025. Well, the hunt for the executive producer. And I was working at a company, and we actually pitched through Wizards of the Coast to go in together to support this game. Um, and we attempted to go in there. We created some design philosophy on like, hey, this is how we could create a. We went for a very Marvel Snap look, where you had that very deep card depth, and you could kind of adjust cards and see it, and very action oriented play. So like you play Maleficent, we had a really cool effect for destroying something that comes down, and we pitched a design theory around it as well about for us, it was very important that it didn't overlap with the cards. We loved the cards for the card game. Digital, you could do something different. We actually had some couple different play modes, same card images, different way to play them,
Okay.
and different ways to kind of think through the turn order and simplify some steps while having a little bit of that coming from Hearthstone. I love the randomness of like, hey, you never know what comes out of a box. You have some things that can digitally change the entire game because it's a digital game. It's not a physical card game. You don't you could open a booster pack randomly in the middle of your card game. And we went for kind of more of those type of interesting interactions. So I'm very excited to see the digital version. Sad that I didn't get a chance to work on it, but can't wait to get a chance to play with it.
Aside from the normal functions of PvP, do you think they'll start implementing like the PvE content like previously before, like the Jafar's Quest and the Great Honeywood Rescue? Do you think they would implement that in this online version?
I think that is something that's going to be way down the road.
Yeah,
They have those in the physical versions. I think that this is going to be. Have you ever played the Pokemon TCG one?
yeah.
It is mostly about opening packs and getting shiny things, um, with some base level of card play. My assumption is that's going to be where it starts off, where they try to go for more of a collector element to it, less of a game player element. And I'm hoping it evolves into deeper gameplay. Could be wrong. Um, I don't know which company is actually developing it. I don't think it's Ravensburger itself. The current executive producer is from WotC, so I'd assume that WotC may be giving a hand with it, but with the number of layoffs they had, I doubt that. So I don't know. It really comes down to who's developing it. We'll get a better idea on who's actually creating it. But for a fact, I have signed up for the beta to get in, and once I start getting in there, I'll be very happy to show off all the ins and outs of it and give a lot of design analysis on what it looks like and how they did implementing it.
So what is the where's the sign up for the beta? Maybe we could share that link with our viewers this week.
Oh, absolutely, and it'll be in show notes, and it'll make sure to be available. But if you go to what was it Disney Lorcana slash digital, you'll be able to sign up and put in your email information. I think this is US only at this time, but I could be wrong about that. And it we have no details, no information at all on what this is going to look like. Just a sign up link and a nice letter from the executive producer talking about how excited they are to release this.
I'll be watching that with immense curiosity.
With the announcement, how far along do you think they are?
I think they're probably about 6 months out. I think they're going to release this during like some sort of New Year's event, or if they have to push it further, if they want to appeal to the Asian audience, though, during the Lunar New Year, probably the best bet.
I think they're going to release it for the next deals. Not DLC, D23. The next D23, we're going to see this. They're like, we're finally ready to take alpha players, maybe more beta players. I bet the alpha is actually pretty stable.
I think this is probably going to be released probably sometime either during the New Year's season or quite possibly February, which is the Lunar New Year. But that's just my prediction.
Yeah, that's a good prediction. I think that this is going to be something for D23. There's a good chance that we might see some alpha testers come in, and most likely, my gut feeling is they have a working client, but they need to verify that they're going the right direction. So they're going to kind of feel out, hey, this feels good for my the gameplay. This feels good for the card feeling. But at the end of the day, they probably aren't a good year out before they're willing to release to beta for other people. Probably a closed beta that they'll announce for the next D23. And D23 is kind of the heartbeat of when Disney would release these. I doubt there's any need urge to release this earlier.
That's true. But I'm trying to think. On platforms like this, do you think they would actually release a PC client first or a mobile client first?
According to the announcement, they're releasing both. So
Okay.
probably a mobile client, just because there's a few more checks and the telemetry to get back from mobile is a little bit more consistent. It's easier to target a hey, this is iOS, that platform's very uniform versus PC. You have no idea what they're running. They could be running like Windows 10, Windows 7.
Yeah.
They could have a no GPU and actually all drawing it all the graphics by hand on their PC. So it very well most likely is going to be built in a tool that makes it simplified. Um, I'm going to lean more towards Unity. If they go down the Unreal path, they're going to have a lot of other overhead. No chance of Godot. I don't see that. I don't think Love, because you can open up the client, and they'd be able to actually look at the underlying binaries for it. So yeah, I'm going to guess that this is going to be first off a mobile release, and it's going to be probably a Unity mobile release, which is will be simplify some of the headaches, but they'll still probably just be iOS only first for the first set of players.
I'm so hyped. I can't wait to play this game like really good on my phone. I mean, I could play it on my phone right now with the other program, but having something streamlined to like either directly to the phone or something on my PC though just makes that much easier as far as like creating content or doing gameplay or putting on a window as you're reading through text or watching videos and such though. So the whole player experience needs to be realized in order for that to be a successful launch. But yeah, I look forward to that beta, so hopefully I'll get in.
Do you hope for so fishes or wishes, and the game that's made is exactly what you want? What are you looking forward to? What do you think would be the best direction for this?
So the number one thing I want from that game is to have a very balanced game economy, whereas, if you get duplicates of cards, still figure out a way to properly dust into other cards. And if people tend to overplay the game and they gather up a lot of the so-called dust, then they could turn it into like foil or different card finishes though. I mean, that'd be great though if you could have a way to earn yourself into iconics and apply those to the decks that you play against other people. That's the first thing that I want. The second thing I want is I don't care if they don't put flashy stuff into it like animations though. It's nice. I just want it to be like an intuitive card system to where it's like, okay, if I'm going to cast this two ink song, it's gonna prompt me to either like, do you want to sing with this or do you want me to use ink? It's like, okay. But if there's no singers available, then automatically it will go to the ink like that.
Do you want it to be a one-to-one of the existing game, or are you hoping to see a little bit of diversity, something changed?
Oh, I would like to see definite changes. Kind of like I want it to be a lot more loose when it comes to like dropping your cards or animations going out on. And the number one thing they will have to implement is, or to make sure is they have a concede button. That was very important because in the early stages of me playing MTG Arena, they didn't have that implemented though, and that was like you're stuck in a game forever. That's horrendous if you don't have a way to win, but then they just basically just grief you by sticking through like a 20 card combo they have to sit through.
Do you know what my number one thing I want them to do?
What?
Simultaneous turns.
Simultaneous.
Everyone plans and does their turn at the same time, exact same turn timer, no waiting, and then you have a fun flurry of animations as the turns go on. I think that would be the most interesting way to convert this from a card to a digital game. Everyone plays, and that was my big pitch because I have a lot of experience with with digital card games, and I just know that there is a level of frustration where people can do very negative things with card games by taking, doing nothing, and they'll turn away a lot of, especially the younger audience of Lorcana. So if everyone says like, okay, you only interact with exerted things anyways.
Uh-huh.
So you can only interact with the things that are already on the board. If you're singing songs, if you're pulling damage, if you're going to quest, you only have that knowledge at that exact same time. And you can do, again, you don't have to change any of the cards. All the cards can say exactly the same, but it's a completely different game. It would be so much more of a fast paced, and you have to kind of, all right, if I use this resource now, uh, they could be dropping their entire hand, and the next, and while I'm doing this, I have no insight on what they're doing. If they're all questing, maybe they're very well. All the other characters could be readied, so maybe I don't want to exert this or unexert this one thing. So, yeah, I think that would make the game just fascinatingly fast. It works. I've tried out the mechanics for it on a digital test, and it is a game that is like, okay, these rules, because there's no interrupts in it. It just becomes this faster thing where it's really fun. So simultaneous turns be super 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 good for a digital card game.
I have one criticism of simultaneous terms. I like to
Mhm.
use the analogy of Back to the Future. If something doesn't exist for your next play, say for instance, you're planning your play in order to I'm gonna quest these two characters and I need to use this one character to sing a song, and I have the card in my hand and and all the ink that I could possibly cast. But what happens if like for instance they do a board wipe while you're planning that out?
Then that effect will fizzle. And the thing that you played, so for example,
Right.
we looked at that Metamim Fox, great example. You play Metamim Fox, you
Hmm.
bounce something to your hand.
Uh-huh.
That thing might be dead or banished by the time that you bounce it to your hand.
Yeah.
What happens when you bounce it? You now banish your Metamim Fox. It gives a little bit more risk to reward on that. Like, oh man, this really really good card becomes less good in the digital version. Does it? But if you still can line some things up, so it's like, okay, you know what? I'm willing to take that risk. I think this Metamim Fox is going to be great no matter what. You exert someone to exert a character, destroy an item, draw two cards. Okay, I'm going to exert him. This item's going to be destroyed. I'll get to draw two cards. Just have to wait for the resolution phase to occur, and then I'll be able to look through my two cards. And oh no, they destroyed my item because the other person had priority. Marvel Snap has a priority system where one person's highlighted whose stuff results first, and then in Lorcana it'll be like in order you play, you then another player, then you, then the other player. So, which makes it even more chaotic,
Hmm.
as all those things occur at the exact same time, one after another. But still, you know what happens? You just exerted your basil. You're not getting to draw anything from it, and now your basil's vulnerable. It might be frustrating, the fact that I was like, oh man, I wouldn't have done that if I would have known they would destroyed it. But it's a different game. Don't think about it as like, hey, these are the type you're now risking. You're now playing against what your opponent's going to play on the field, not what your opponent has played on the field.
Hmm. Okay. So I would be a lot more comfortable with that sort of gameplay if it was introduced as his own gameplay mode, kind of like maybe just like maybe streamline mode or something like that.
Yeah.
But there's just some people that just would prefer to play the traditional turn for turn and wait for everything. So
Totally. And there, who knows? I've noticed that a lot of designers are very timid when taking those type of risks of building something really that far outside of the box.
yeah,
But you know what's not outside of the box? A cold one.
definitely. I got you covered on this
Absolutely.
side.
So, before we open these cold ones, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments a digital version should look like. Because I'm very, very curious to if I'm a minority, if this will be too mind-boggling, or if that's going to be something that's really, really fun.
All
And
right.
don't forget to like and subscribe.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
So,
Here we go. We got Ellie Fredrickson. We got Kanga, the Bard. Excellent. Owl, the Honey
oh, whole
Archer.
poo stack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beast, Fierce Defender, Aladdin, Miko, Morph. There you go. For your
Great
Abs of
card.
Steel. Todd,
Yeah.
even a better card. Yeah, that's a great one.
Mhm.
There's a Doug. We got
Ooh,
Aladdin.
Aladdin.
And Todd and Copper.
I
Nice.
guess I have to build this Touch the Sky deck. I mean,
Do
all the
it.
cards are coming out for it.
Whoa!
Ooh,
Foil Bell and Beast.
nice.
Very nice.
Have yet to do the classic. I guess this is a very item centric, but yeah, no, I'm very haven't built that deck yet. Those two colors at all. So that'd be fun to play with.
Certain of the Sun. Very nice. Okay. And I'll be opening up a pack of Wilds Unknown. Here we go.
Ooh, Pegasus.
There you go.
Wee Dingawal. Buzz Lightyear. Good 2 cost 3/3. Frozone.
Where's my super suit? There
Oh, Casa Madrigal.
we go.
Might be something worth putting in your deck.
Oh, I already put that in there actually.
Nice. Augustin Madrigal.
Yeah.
Oh, the Wee Bears.
The Wee Bears.
Donald Duck. Get some Traveler action going.
Yeah. And we got Ham.
Ham. Nice.
Got Hey,
Ooh, a
Rex.
Rex.
Really good in that
That's a,
toys deck.
yep.
And what do we got right here? Okay.
A Family Scattered. Nice control card. That's an Emerald. And ooh, shiny Will-O-the-Wisp.
Very nice. I love it. Okay.
Nice indeed. Well, I think we have solved another league night. Thank you everyone for coming.
And be sure once again, like and subscribe. And on top of everything else though, have a great week.